celestial skies and serenic seas. That is how VISEART describes these two newest palettes that they released for winter 2025. I am talking about Sireneuse Nocturne and Violette Nocturne. Today, we are going to be playing with both of these palettes. I am going to do in-depth swatches, multiple looks, and in the end, I am hoping to answer the questions, are these as good as some of VISEART's most recent releases? Are these really winter color stories? And finally, is one of these going to look on the eyes very much like my least favorite Natasha Denona palette? We've got a lot to cover, so let's get into it. Let's cover off on some basic details. Violette Nocturne brings star-swept skies of violet noir and mulberry, while Sireneuse Nocturne dives deep with obsidian, suede, and serenic shimmer. And together, they create a mirrored world of night skies and storm-lit seas. Each of these palettes retails for $44. They are excluded right now from VISEART's Black Friday sale. These are limited edition, so you have to decide for yourself whether or not you want to wait and try to catch these on sale. I hope that going through these today helps you decide if you want to roll the dice. We are going to focus on this palette first. This is the Sireneuse Nocturne Étendu. Part of the reason that I'm itching to get into this is because I have really been into these green sort of olive shades. And this morning, as I was drinking my coffee, I thought, oh no, are some of these shades going to look really similar to Retro Glam from Natasha Denona, which looks absolutely horrendous on me. So let's get into the swatches now for Sireneuse Nocturne. Here is what those first four shades look like. This one is Voile, iced silver rosé with a shimmer finish. Harpia, cool toned light beige with a matte finish. Luline, a mid-tone clay rose with a matte finish. Sirene, a patinaed silver green with a metallic finish. Echo, a mid-tone chestnut blushed brown with a matte finish. Paris, a nude mauve with blue duochromatic flecks. Tritonia, a coralline blush sienna with a duochromatic finish. Ciel Figé, a basalt silver brown with a duochromatic finish. Love that shade. I am overall loving what I am seeing so far. Some of the mattes aren't swatching great on my arm, but guys, I feel like that's not unusual. I mean, my arm was really not made for wearing eyeshadow. First up, we have Tideborn, a light, cool-toned nude slate with a matte finish. Definitely need more there. Looks like this could be a great transition shade. Siren or Siren, I don't know. And that one is described as an antique gold green with a shimmer finish. That one's not quite as punchy as I had hoped, but we do have this one over here that's quite punchy. And then we have Nautilus. This is described as a muted kelp green with a matte finish. God, I love VISEART's descriptions. Who else would describe something as kelp green? And the last shade in the bunch is Brindle, and this is a espresso bitter brown with a matte finish. All right, gang. So here is the total color story for Sireneuse Nocturne Étendu. I am feeling more excited after swatching this than I was when I first opened it. And I'm definitely less nervous that this is going to read like Retro Glam. So let's move on to getting this onto my eyes. Guys, before we get into applying this first palette, I also picked up the eyeshadow primer. I have been using the primer potion from Urban Decay, which is great. I do like it. My favorite had been the eyeshadow primer from Rare Beauty. I think it's discontinued. I can't find it anywhere. If you know of somewhere it's being sold, please let me know. The Seamless Eye Primer from VISEART is $24, and it is designed to create a flawless, crease-free base for any look. Its velvety, translucent formula glides on effortlessly, intensifying pigments and ensuring vibrant, true-to-pan color payoff on all complexions. I tend to prefer an eyeshadow primer that is opaque because, as you can probably see, I do have a lot of redness on my eyelids. Of course, I have veins. So let's see if this is truly translucent. Oh, yes, it is. Guys, no one should ever let me be around a squeezy tube. I am just going to apply this greasy looking material to my eyes. This was not what I was expecting. I have to use this green here and this green gold shimmer here. Those are kind of like the showstoppers for this palette. I'm going to start off with this one and just get that on the center of the lid. Here's what that looks like again. The only other shimmer in the palette that I think is light enough to become the inner corner, if we want to do a shimmery inner corner, is this pink here. So let me just swatch that right up beside that. What worries me is that these are not going to look good together. And again, this is where I'm getting into the comparison to the Natasha Denona Retro Glam palette, where there's sort of these tans and pinks and greens, and it's like, do these really go well together? Ooh, I probably need to compare this to the Retro Mini too. Okay, whoa, getting ahead of myself. Okay, so I'm going to go nuts and try the matte inner corner with this lightest pink shade here. And now I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that first shade and just kind of almost scatter tapping over that pink so that it's just not as intense. I'm going to put some of this green in the outer corner. I don't know how this is going to work because it's actually pretty light, guys. Okay, it's swatched light. I'm going to grab a Refer 26, which has kind of a point to it, which makes it great for sort of wiggling into the crease. So let's try some of this. I do have a little bit of fallout from that first shimmer that I used. So obviously these two shades play really well together. The question is, do these shades play well with anybody else in the palette? Let's grab this shade here and just try to lay that down as a transition shade. I'm doing this totally out of the order that I would typically do things. Oh, I just tapped it on the wrong color. Maybe that means it's the color we should use. I tapped in here. So let's just do that. It was meant to be. And so now I'm just going to intensify this darkest green along the lash line and run it along the lower lash line as well. I want to try tapping that pink shimmer in the inner corner. Let's just see what that does. Just picking that up on one of my KJH Spectrum Collection brushes. I am thinking that was not the way to go. Marry these back together a little bit more. I think that's pretty much look number one done. I think it's really pretty, but I don't think it's groundbreaking. I have other palettes that could do this, but let's go on to the second look. I feel like I really want to use this one, which is that duochrome that is the red and blue shift. Of course, I'm dying to use this one. I think I definitely have this shade in other palettes. Let's swatch this one. I'm just sort of trying to figure out who the star of the show is here, okay? Let's do what we did over here, which is start with what we want our hero shade to be. That is, again, the shade. Tap that kind of in the center, coming closer to the inner third. I don't think that blue is really picking up that well. For our outer corner, this is this bitter espresso. So obviously, this is our smoky nighttime eye. And I got a ton of fallout. I am going to grab the shade here to sort of soften that darkest brown. So far, not super jazzed about this look. I'm going to grab some more of this and see what happens if I tap it over this deepest brown shade. Does it make some of the complexity of this shade sort of shine through a bit more? And I would say I do not see that happening. Well, we need something for inner corner. I would kind of like to go here, but guys, I'm just afraid that's going to be too dark. I don't know. Oh, forget it. Let's do it. I've made a total mess of my face. Can you see the fallout? It's bad. It's really, really bad. I kind of like this look. I don't know what it is about it, but I kind of like it. Let's add some more fallout. I mean, shadow to the outer corner. Ooh, boy. So much for doing my complexion first to save time. Yeah, that didn't work out like that. I mean, is it me? Oh my gosh. When I get the fallout wet down here, I can really see the blue sparkle shine through. I had quite a bit over here too. Hold on. I need reinforcements, more Q-tips. It is Thanksgiving Day, and that means that I've got to pick one of these eyes and make the eyes match before I head out for the day. And I like them both. I feel like I have done the necessary cleanup. I am going to go off camera, do mascara, and touch up complexion. And then we're going to come back and do sort of a final analysis on both of these looks. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back with my Knots Landing hair. Is this Knots Landing hair? It's definitely 80s, isn't it? Go on, you can tell me. I added mascara, my YSL Lash Clash. I also added some eyeliner from Sarah Creel. I touched up the complexion again. Everything I have used will be listed and linked down in the description box. We've got two very different looks here, I would say, from the Sireneuse Nocturne palette. I like them both. I think that this one here is a lot more daytime, even though it's got that olive green. Because of the shimmer, I feel like it looks almost more spring than winter. This one over here is definitely deeper, smokier. I kind of think I like this one better. I feel like this one makes my eye look bigger. Would love to know what you think for Thanksgiving. I'm actually going to wipe this one off because I think it's going to come off easier. So that's really what's going into my decision about what my look for today is. So we're going to wrap up there in terms of the demo portion for this palette. After we do swatches and the demo for the other palette, then I'll come back and do some palette comparisons. So that's when we'll kind of get into whether or not there's some similarities here to the Retro Glam Midi palette and the Retro Mini palette from Natasha Denona. I am going to get on with my turkey day, and I will see you back here later on for Violette Nocturne. All right, guys, we are going to jump right into swatches for Violette Nocturne. I'm going to go 4 at a time, just like the previous palette. So here are those first 4 shades. This one is really cool. I didn't know what to expect. This one is Plume, a light, cool-toned nude pink with a matte finish. Violetine, a light blush pink with a matte finish. Le Chimère, a white purple pink with a duochromatic finish. Cendré, a mid-tone grayish purple with a matte finish. Okay, getting into our next row. There are a lot more mattes in this palette than they typically do. So there are next 4 shades. Estrella, a cool mid-tone taupe brown with a matte finish. Serpentine, a light purple with flecks of silver, lilac, pink, and green with a duochromatic finish. Iantha, a mid-tone, dusty, cool-toned purple with a matte finish. That's really pretty. Celine Noctiflore, a mid-tone taupe brown with a matte finish. And finally, our last row. Gris Fumé, a smoked taupe brown purple with a silver shimmer finish. Fleur de Nuit, a light muted lavender with a matte finish. Mur Sauvage, a mid-tone, cool-toned cocoa taupe with a matte finish. Nocturne, a deep elderberry purple brown with a matte finish. All right, guys, so there is our total color story for Violette Nocturne Étendu. I am really excited based on the swatches. These are truly beautiful shades. Let's take a look at these outside, and then we're going to get into our looks. All right, guys, I am back from swatching and really excited to jump into this palette, more so now than before I swatched. I know for certain that I want to use this duochrome. I think this one is called Serpentine. So we are going to start out there on the center of the lid and sort of build out. I have already primed my eyelids with the VISEART primer. We'll see how well it works because it's had some time to really dry down while I was doing swatches. Let's go ahead and get that first duochrome on. This is a very light palette, and so I'm really interested to see how much of a punch it's able to pack. Not that, you know, that's what you always want or need. I feel like we need a deeper purple in the outer corner to sort of amp this up a little bit. I am going to grab a Refer 01, and I am going to go, maybe I shouldn't do that. Hold on. I'm looking at my swatches. I was about to just go all the way. Darkest shade in the palette. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to do it. I am just going to tap in very lightly. See, light look, totally possible, even with the deepest shade. Put some deeper along the lash line here, and just kind of feathering up and inward. I want to grab something that's for our transition. I'm trying to decide if I should go here. I have a Refer 16 now, and I'm just going to pick some of that up. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that deepest purple and kind of deepen up the outer corner a bit. Because I want to go back in with that duochrome, and I want to see if it pops a little bit stronger when I've applied something deeper underneath. I do think that sort of punched it up just a little bit. So I'm going to go in with this lightest shade here with a brush from KJH Spectrum Collection. This is just a really light pink, and I would say I over applied. So I'm going to take that original duochrome now and add it back in to meet up with this lightest matte shade. And again, we'll see kind of what happens when you have something underneath that. Just want it to be more sort of scattered right there in the inner corner as opposed to as strong as it is up the center. But I am going to pack some more on just up the center of my lid. We are going to leave that one right there with the exception of a little bit of that deep purple underneath the lash line. I have a Refer 03 here. So in the demo for the first palette, I had mentioned mentioned that I would be right back for for this palette. Obviously, right back meant like, 24 hours later. But in that 24 hours, guys, I placed an order from Refer. They released a brand new foundation brush. You guys know I am a foundation with the fingers kind of girl, but I have been kind of eyeing this. They just launched it in the concept store. I'm going to add a picture over here. Yesterday, they were doing a pay what you can, even $0. I don't know if they're still doing that. I will make a note so that you know if you want to go get that. And then I did pick up one of the two options in the eyelash curler, the more narrow one that's more curved. I am excited about trying that one out for you and letting you know how that works. We are going to go on to the second eye. Let's start off with the transition shade over here. I don't know where this one's going to go, guys. I really don't. So I have another Refer 16. I want to pick this one up. Okay, transition shade. I've got a cat scratching. Hold, please. Come on in, Big. We did not mean to leave you out. Go get on to bed. Okay, I want to try something. I want to put this down and then this duochrome up here over it. I don't know. This could totally be a flop. We're gonna find out. I am gonna pick up this lilac shade and I'm gonna put that all over the center of the lid. The cats are ready to rumble. Let me go back with our transition shade. Zoomies, they've got zoomies. You know what it is? They're excited about decorating for Christmas because they know after this we're going to decorate for Christmas. They're going to have an entire tree filled with toys just for them. I am picking up some of this duochrome now on my finger. So again, that is the one we are talking about. Wow, that's really not showing up. Let me go to the inner corner. Let me find my favorite inner corner brush. This inner corner brush is like magic, okay? It is like, I have to use it. Oh, there it is. Let's try this again. So I'm gonna sort of wiggle in with this and try to concentrate on the inner corner. Hey, Finn, I'm filming. Would you close my door? Thank you. Wait, let Big out. Let Big, go on, baby. Hi. Hi, brother. Go on. Go, yes, shake the treats. Here he comes. All right, that really did not do what I thought it was going to do. I am going to pick up some of this shimmer shade here on my finger. Let's throw that into the mix. This eye is turning into a hodgepodge here. I don't know. I don't feel like it's necessarily doing anything special. Let me now tap some of this fun duochrome over it. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I'm not feeling this at all. This is just all reading so light, but I mean, I think that's to be expected. I mean, if you look at the palette, it's not really a very deep palette except for this one shade. Let's see, what can I muddy up the outer corner with? I think let's throw this one out there. Looks pretty deep on the brush. Even with the mattes, you need to be careful. You will get massive amounts of fallout if you put too much on the brush. I did. That's not VISEART, that's me. Let me just get some of this fallout up so that I can really get a better sense of what we have going on here. Oh, I think I have a Thanksgiving hangover or something like. I cannot put sentences together right now. I don't know what is wrong with me. We've got two very different looks here, I think. So let's do the bottom lash line over here with this deepest shade that we did in the outer corner. I love how I clean up and then I immediately am like, let's make a mess again. I'm going to grab a cotton round and put this right here. That made that much easier. But It does carry a risk of fuzzing. I'm going to grab that pencil brush again and concentrate this in the outer corner a bit. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the deepest purple that we used over here and use that kind of along the lash line. Here we have our two looks. I really like these. I was really nervous, you guys. I really was. That wraps up both of these looks. I'm gonna go off camera, put on mascara, and then we are gonna come back to do a debrief on this palette. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I am back. I did YSL Lash Clash on the top and Clinique Bottom Lash Mascara on the bottom. I did also go ahead and tight line both eyes using a felt style liner. Over here, I did more sort of like kick it out to just a little bit of a wing. Didn't do that over here really, just wanted to keep it a little more toned down. I wanted to tell you about what I'm wearing on my lips because I really love this combination of products. It has become a little bit of a go-to. I am wearing the Kulfi lip stain in First Sorry, and then I added on top of that, once that had kind of dried down for a bit, this Givenchy gloss that is like in this black shade. I love this. I love this even on its own. This just adds this really interesting tone. Love. Okay, eyes. I am really happy with the way that both of these looks turned out. I definitely want to play with this one a lot more because it didn't really go on the way that I thought it would, but I'm very happy with the looks, which means that there are probably a lot more possibilities here than I am recognizing. And guys, I am eyeballs deep in trying to put together my list for a video covering my top 3 products in every category. I am trying to make some final decisions, especially on eyeshadow palettes and blush. There's probably going to have to be some cheating in the blush category, if it's considered cheating. Right now, I have my categories broken out into powder blush, and then I've got putty blush, and then I've got cream blush, just so I can include more blushes. But yes, I want to play with these new VISEART palettes a little bit more to see if they are a surprise late entry into my top 3 in 2025. And now I am going to change our setup so that we can close out today's video with those comparisons to the Sireneuse Nocturne palette. Specifically today, I am going to be swatching the Retro Glam palette from Natasha Denona, and then of course Mini Retro. Now this could be close. Then I also want to get into a couple of these shades in the Mini Gold palette. So gonna change the setup and we will get into those swatch comparisons. I have added another Natasha Denona mini palette to the lineup here, the Mini Gloom palette. Let's go ahead and get these shades from VISEART down. Let's just start here with the matte, and then let's take a look at my very well-loved Mini Retro palette and Mini Gloom. And then we have the Mini Gold palette. Okay, so there's our olive green lineup. Let's get the VISEART matte down first. You know, this swatches much lighter than it looks when applied to the eyes, if you remember from the look that I put together. Okay, so then next up, this is the Mini Retro. Wow, that looks almost identical. Hold on, let me get that closer again. So Mini Retro, and then we had the Mini Gloom shade. And then finally, this is from Mini Gold. Okay, let's go ahead and see if there's anything in the Retro Glam palette. Let's try this one here. This is Evergreen. Even though it's a shimmer, let's just look at Oz. So there are those two. So again, that's Evergreen. Yeah, these are very different. and Oz. Still feel like these two are the most similar that we have in terms of the matte greens. Let's take a look at these shimmer shades here. Let's do this lightest one, then this one here. I think this one up top is described as having more silver, whereas this one has more gold. Let's take a look at this one. That's not going to be a match at all, but God, that's such a great shade. Next up, we have Mini Gloom. I think this one is worth checking out, but I think it's lighter. Has more silver in it. Then we have the Mini Gold. Of course, the Mini Gold has a real gold in it. And that green even has some gold in it. On the shimmers side, for the green and the gold shimmers, I don't think we've got anything there that lines up. So let's look at Retro Glam. Guys, I don't know if there's any reason to swatch anything in here. Not in the green and gold. You know, let's pull one more palette into this. Here we have Desert Gleam from Lisa Eldridge. Let's do our matte. I think it is much more like the green that is in Mini Gold than it is our olive shade in the VISEART palette. And then let's check out this shade. Swatching in a bit of a strange place, but I almost feel like it's closer than anything else that we swatched over here. All right, guys, so there we have our swatch comparisons, really that I was most interested in. I mean, this olive shade from the VISEART palette, you know, that shade has been so popular. I think outside of the Mini Retro palette, I don't know that we really have a match over here. And certainly in terms of the shimmery shades, maybe this one from Lisa Eldridge, but otherwise nothing really lines up there. So I'm happy to see that we don't have a lot of really close comparisons. Guys, I hope that you have enjoyed today's video and that if you did, you will give it a big thumbs up. It really helps my channel a lot, and I hope that you will subscribe if you're not subscribed. So thank you again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time.